What if everything you've been told about your struggles is a lie? Carl Jung uncovered something the establishment never wanted you to know. 6 specific vices that plague your life, the ones you've spent years trying to fix, the patterns that make you feel broken and defective, aren't character flaws at all. They're divine markers, spiritual fingerprints that identify you as chosen for something far beyond ordinary existence. While you've been fighting against these patterns, blaming yourself for being weak or damaged, the truth is staggering. God uses these exact vices as beacons to locate souls capable of extraordinary missions on earth. Each one carries a unique frequency that only consciousness destined for greatness can detect and embody. Do certain struggles follow you no matter how hard you try to escape them? Do you feel fundamentally different from the people around you, as if you're carrying a weight they can't even perceive? This isn't random. Jung proved these aren't bugs in your system, they're features, divine codes written into your soul before you took your first breath. What you're about to discover will shatter everything you believe about your pain, your flaws, and your purpose. These 6 vices might be the only proof you need that you were never meant for an ordinary life. You've achieved things others dream about, yet there's this gnawing emptiness that never goes away. You buy what you want, experience what you crave, reach milestones that should satisfy you, and still, something's missing. Always missing. This isn't greed, it's not some character defect that therapy can fix. It's the first mark of a soul that doesn't belong to this world. Jung understood what others couldn't. Chosen souls carry a divine restlessness that no earthly pleasure can satisfy. Your spirit recognizes itself as belonging to a higher dimension, and everything in this material realm registers as fundamentally insufficient. That void you feel? It's sacred space, room reserved for something this world cannot provide. This manifests in ways that make you look broken to people who don't understand. You chase experiences, relationships, achievements, anything that promises to fill that aching hole inside. And each time, the same thing happens. Brief satisfaction, then that familiar emptiness returns, deeper than before. Others watch you and think you're ungrateful, never satisfied, always wanting more. They don't realize your soul is literally rejecting anything that doesn't match your true frequency. Every failed attempt to find fulfillment isn't weakness, it's your spiritual immune system refusing to settle for less than your authentic purpose. This infinite thirst often drives addictive patterns, not because you're weak-willed, but because your consciousness is desperately searching for something that transcends physical reality. You might find yourself drawn to substances, toxic relationships, or compulsive behaviors that promise fulfillment. When they inevitably leave you emptier than before, you haven't failed. Your soul is simply refusing to accept counterfeits. Jung observed this restlessness serves a critical function. It prevents you from getting comfortable with mediocrity. While others settle into ordinary lives and convince themselves they're happy, your inner dissatisfaction acts as a constant goad, pushing you toward transformation. The discomfort isn't punishment, it's propulsion. This sacred hunger also gives you abilities others lack. You've developed a spiritual radar that detects inauthenticity instantly. You sense when something's off, when people are performing rather than being real, when situations don't align with truth. This sensitivity feels like a curse because you see through everything, but it's actually one of your most valuable gifts. The infinite thirst also explains why you feel alienated from most people. They seem content with surface-level interactions and temporary pleasures. Meanwhile, you're always digging deeper, questioning everything, searching for meaning in places they'd never think to look. This isolation isn't punishment, it's protection. Your soul is being preserved for work that shallow connections would only compromise. Understanding this changes everything. That emptiness you've been trying to fill your entire life isn't a hole that needs plugging. It's sacred space being held for your true purpose to emerge. Stop fighting it. Start recognizing it as your internal compass pointing towards your divine assignment. You need to be alone, not sometimes, constantly. This goes far beyond introversion or social anxiety. It's another unmistakable signature of the chosen. Jung discovered that souls selected for divine missions require extended isolation to receive transmissions from higher realms. Your need for solitude isn't antisocial behavior or depression. It's when your real work happens, work most people can't even perceive. When you're alone, something activates, your mind clears, your intuition sharpens. That quiet inner voice that gets drowned out by daily noise becomes audible again. This isn't your imagination. It's direct communication from dimensions beyond this one, and it can only be heard in complete silence. You probably feel guilty about this need. Society conditions us to believe isolation is unhealthy, that constant social engagement is the mark of mental wellness. Family and friends pressure you to be more social, to stop disappearing, to participate more in normal life. They don't understand that your alone time isn't empty. It's when you're most productive on a spiritual level. During these periods of solitude, you're being prepared. Your consciousness is being expanded. Spiritual abilities are being activated. You're receiving information and downloads that will prove crucial for your mission. Think of it as attending a cosmic academy where lessons can only be delivered in perfect silence. This explains why you feel drained after too much social interaction, even with people you genuinely love. It's not that you don't care about them. Their energy interferes with the frequencies you're meant to receive. Your soul knows it needs to maintain a clear channel to divine intelligence, and excessive human contact creates static on that channel. Jung noticed that chosen ones use solitude differently than ordinary people. Most use alone time to escape or numb themselves with entertainment and distraction. You use it to go deeper into yourself. You think, reflect, question everything about existence. This isn't overthinking or rumination, it's spiritual processing. You're working through lifetimes of accumulated karma and preparing for the work you incarnated to accomplish. Your isolation also serves as protection. During these periods, you're shielded from negative energies and influences that could derail your path. God knows your mission is too important to risk contamination from lower vibrational experiences, so you're guided into solitude when you need to recalibrate and remember who you really are. This also explains why you feel most creative, inspired, and connected to purpose when you're completely alone. In solitude, your true self emerges, free from the masks and roles you perform for others. You remember your authentic nature and why you came here in the first place. Coming out of those sacred periods of isolation, you return to the world feeling compelled to fix everything and everyone. This overwhelming urge to control outcomes isn't a character flaw, it's another divine marker separating you from ordinary consciousness. Jung recognized that chosen souls carry an unconscious awareness of their responsibility for collective well-being, which manifests as an almost compulsive need to manage situations and outcomes. You feel responsible for things that technically aren't your problem. When family members struggle, you believe it's your job to solve their issues. When your workplace descends into chaos, you feel compelled to step in and restore order. When you witness injustice anywhere, you carry the weight of changing it. This isn't ego or a savior complex. It's your soul recognizing its assignment as a healing force in this world. This need creates immense stress. You exhaust yourself trying to manage variables beyond human control, and you feel like you've failed when things don't unfold according to your plans. What you don't realize, this stress is strengthening your spiritual capacity. Every failed attempt to control something teaches you crucial lessons about surrender and divine timing that you'll need later. Chosen ones often become leaders not because they seek power, but because they can't watch things fall apart when they know they could help. You step into leadership reluctantly, feeling the burden of responsibility crushing your shoulders. Others might call you controlling or demanding, but you're simply responding to an inner imperative to bring order to chaos. This controlling tendency also makes you extraordinarily reliable. People learn they can count on you because you take ownership in ways others don't. While exhausting, it's developing qualities you'll need when you step fully into your purpose. Every project managed, every crisis navigated, every person helped is training for something much larger. Your need for control also stems from heightened sensitivity to energy and outcomes. You feel when things are going wrong before they actually collapse. Your attempts to control situations are really attempts to prevent suffering, yours and others. This prophetic awareness is another gift that comes with being chosen, even though it feels like a curse when you're constantly bracing for disaster. The frustration you experience when control slips away is actually your soul learning its most critical lesson: the balance between human effort and divine will. You're being taught that while you must take action and do your part, ultimate control belongs to forces beyond you. This lesson is essential because your future mission will require acting with confidence while trusting in timing you cannot see. Jung understood this controlling nature would eventually transform into genuine leadership guided by spiritual wisdom. The same energy you currently waste trying to manage small situations will be channeled into managing your divine assignment with grace and power. Building from that constant struggle to control outcomes, you've probably noticed your life contains more hardship than seems normal or fair. While others glide through existence with minimal challenges, you face one brutal situation after another. This isn't bad luck. It isn't karma from past lives. It's the most profound sign that you've been selected for a purpose requiring extraordinary preparation through extraordinary suffering. Pain is how chosen souls are forged. Every heartbreak, every loss, every moment of despair is precisely orchestrated to break down false aspects of your personality and reveal your authentic spiritual power. Jung observed that ordinary people can fulfill ordinary purposes with ordinary experiences, but those destined for greatness must be refined in fires of suffering that would destroy lesser consciousness. Your pain isn't random. It's designed with surgical precision to develop specific qualities you'll need. Financial struggles teach resourcefulness and compassion for poverty. Relationship betrayals develop discernment and the ability to see through masks people wear. Health challenges connect you to your body and teach you about healing from the inside. Each form of suffering is a specialized training program. You often feel like you're being tested constantly. You are. Your soul signed up for advanced spiritual education before incarnating, and pain is the curriculum. While others learn through books and comfortable lessons, you learn through direct experience of life's most devastating teachings. This makes your wisdom deeper and more authentic than knowledge gained through easier paths. Constant pain also keeps you humble and connected to human suffering. If your life was comfortable and easy, you'd lose touch with the struggles most people endure. Your personal agony creates empathy and understanding that will be essential when you're called to serve. You cannot heal what you haven't experienced yourself. Your relationship with pain differs from others because you instinctively understand its transformative power. While most people avoid discomfort at all costs, you've learned to extract meaning from struggle. You search for lessons, seek growth opportunities, use your pain as fuel for evolution. This wisdom about suffering will be crucial for your future role as healer or guide. The intensity of your pain also develops emotional and spiritual strength beyond normal human capacity. Each time you survive something that should have broken you, your resilience expands. You discover inner resources you didn't know existed and develop unshakable faith in your ability to transcend any challenge. This strength isn't being built for your survival alone. It's being forged so you can help others navigate their own darkness. Jung recognized that chosen ones must experience the full spectrum of human emotion to become effective guides. Your pain gives you credentials no amount of study could provide. When you eventually step into your purpose and help others, they'll trust you because they can see in your eyes that you truly understand suffering and how to transmute it into power. Following your journey through necessary pain, you've discovered that even moments of peace feel temporary. There's this constant underlying current telling you that you should be doing something more, something different, something bigger. This restlessness isn't anxiety or chronic dissatisfaction. It's your soul recognizing that you haven't stepped into your true purpose yet, and it will never let you settle until you do. This divine agitation manifests throughout your entire life. You change jobs frequently, not because you're flighty or unreliable, but because your spirit knows conventional career paths aren't meant for you. Each job teaches you something you'll need later, but none feel like home because they're just stepping stones to your real work. You struggle with long-term commitments because something inside knows your life will transform dramatically at some point. Friends and family criticize you for not settling down, for always searching, for never being satisfied. They don't understand that this restlessness is divine guidance keeping you available for your true calling. Chosen ones often feel like they're living someone else's life, going through motions of normal existence, while their souls scream for authenticity. You wake up most mornings with this vague sensation that you're supposed to be somewhere else, doing something else, being someone else. This isn't ingratitude, it's recognition that your current life is temporary. Preparation for your real life. This restlessness appears in relationships too. You find yourself drawn to people who challenge you, who push growth, who refuse to let you stagnate. Peaceful, comfortable relationships feel suffocating because your soul craves the friction that promotes evolution. You're unconsciously seeking connections that prepare you for the intense relationships you'll have in your future mission. Your restless nature makes you an excellent student of existence. While others find routine comforting, you constantly seek new experiences, knowledge, perspectives. This isn't superficial curiosity. Your spirit is gathering tools and wisdom from every possible source. Every book read, every person met, every experience had adds to your arsenal for future purpose. The restlessness also prevents you from getting trapped in comfortable mediocrity. Jung observed that many people possess potential for greatness but lose it by becoming too comfortable in ordinary circumstances. Your inner agitation protects against this spiritual death, ensuring you keep moving, growing, searching until you find what you're really looking for. This constant movement develops adaptability and resilience. You learn to thrive in uncertainty because uncertainty becomes your natural state. While others need stability to function, you become comfortable with change and not knowing what comes next. This flexibility will be essential when you're called to navigate uncharted spiritual territory. Your restlessness often intensifies when you're close to breakthrough or major transformation. Your soul senses change approaching and becomes even more agitated with the status quo. These periods of intense restlessness are preparation phases, readying you to release your current life and embrace something completely new. The eternal nature of this restlessness keeps you connected to infinite possibility. While others find satisfaction in finite achievements and possessions, your soul remains plugged into unlimited potential. This keeps your vision expanded and prevents thinking too small about your impact. Understanding restlessness as divine guidance rather than personal weakness changes everything. Instead of fighting it or feeling guilty about never being satisfied, you begin trusting it as internal navigation guiding you toward destiny. The discomfort becomes bearable when you understand it's temporary and purposeful. Emerging from constant restlessness, your mind has developed an almost compulsive need to question everything. This isn't skepticism or negativity. It's one of the most sophisticated spiritual gifts marking you as chosen. Jung understood that souls destined for great missions must see through illusions and uncover hidden truths that others accept without examination. Your questioning nature started early. As a child, you probably drove adults insane with endless why questions that went deeper than typical curiosity. While other children accepted simple answers, you kept digging, sensing layers of truth beneath surface explanations. This wasn't rebellion. It was awakening consciousness testing the reliability of information being fed to you. This obsessive questioning extends into every area of adult life. You question religious teachings, even if you consider yourself spiritual. You question political narratives, regardless of which side presents them. You question social norms, cultural expectations, popular beliefs. This constant analysis exhausts you, but it's developing your ability to discern truth from manipulation. Chosen ones are natural detectives of reality. Your questioning mind automatically searches for inconsistencies, contradictions, hidden agendas that others miss or ignore. You can't help noticing when something doesn't add up, when words don't match actions, when official explanations don't account for observable facts. This makes you excellent at uncovering deception, but also makes you feel isolated when others don't see what seems obvious. Your doubt-everything mentality creates tension in relationships. Friends and family accuse you of being negative, paranoid, impossible to please because you won't accept their viewpoints without evidence. They don't understand your questioning isn't personal rejection. It's your soul's inability to accept false information. You literally cannot force yourself to believe something that doesn't feel true. This questioning nature makes you an independent thinker who forms opinions based on personal investigation rather than popular consensus. While others follow trends and accept mainstream narratives, you conduct your own research, draw your own conclusions, stand by your findings even when unpopular. This intellectual independence is crucial preparation for your future role as someone who must trust their own wisdom above conventional thinking. Your obsessive questioning develops analytical and investigative skills to exceptional levels. You become expert at reading between lines, recognizing patterns, connecting dots others miss. These abilities aren't being developed for casual use. They're being honed because your mission will require uncovering and revealing truths that others cannot or will not see. The intensity of your questioning increases when you encounter systems claiming authority over others. Your soul instinctively rebels against attempts to control or limit human consciousness, and you automatically examine these systems for flaws. This isn't anarchistic behavior. It's your divine nature recognizing and resisting anything opposing spiritual freedom. Jung noted that chosen ones must become master questioners because they'll eventually challenge existing paradigms and introduce new ways of thinking. Your current practice questioning everything is training for the day you'll need to question fundamental assumptions about reality itself. Your questioning also protects against spiritual deception. As you grow in awareness and power, you'll encounter increasingly sophisticated attempts to mislead you. Your well-developed questioning reflex will be your primary defense against false teachers, deceptive opportunities, and spiritual traps that could derail your mission. The obsessive nature ensures you don't stop at surface answers. You keep digging until you reach core truths, foundational principles, ultimate causes. This thorough approach will be essential when working with deep spiritual and cosmic forces governing your true purpose. Most importantly, your questioning extends to yourself. You constantly examine your own thinking, challenge your own assumptions, question your own reactions. This self-interrogation develops the self-awareness and humility that will prevent future power from corrupting your mission. Building from relentless questioning of reality, you carry an almost unbearable sense of responsibility for outcomes most people would consider completely outside their control. This isn't guilt or codependency. It's your soul recognizing its cosmic assignment as guardian of human consciousness and well-being. Jung understood that chosen souls are born with innate awareness of their role as shepherds of humanity. Even before fully understanding what this means, they feel it. This cosmic responsibility appears in the smallest details of daily life. When you see someone struggling, you feel personally responsible for helping, even if you've never met them. When you witness injustice or suffering in the news, you feel the weight in your chest as if it's happening to someone you love. When environmental destruction occurs, you feel it as personal failure, as if you should have somehow prevented it. Your sense of responsibility extends beyond current events to historical injustices and future possibilities. You find yourself feeling guilty about tragedies that happened before you were born, losing sleep over potential disasters that might occur after you're gone. This isn't mental illness. It's your soul operating from a timeless perspective where all human suffering is interconnected and you're somehow accountable for all of it. This burden manifests as overwhelming compulsion to save everyone. You exhaust yourself solving other people's problems, often sacrificing your own well-being. Family members bring you their crises because they know you'll drop everything to help. Friends dump emotional baggage on you because they sense your willingness to carry their pain. Strangers tell you their life stories because something about your energy makes them feel you'll understand. The weight of cosmic responsibility can be crushing. You lie awake thinking about suffering in the world, feeling like you should be doing more. You feel guilty taking time for yourself because you know people somewhere need help. You struggle enjoying simple pleasures because you're aware others suffer while you're comfortable. This awareness becomes a form of spiritual martyrdom. Jung observed this sense of cosmic responsibility serves crucial functions in preparing chosen souls. First, it develops your capacity for unconditional love and compassion. By feeling responsible for everyone, you learn to care without expecting anything in return. This selfless love will be essential when serving humanity in your true capacity. Second, this burden teaches you about interconnectedness of all existence. While others see themselves as separate individuals responsible only for their own lives, you experience reality as a web where everyone's well-being affects everyone else. This cosmic perspective will be crucial when working with spiritual forces operating on universal rather than individual scale. Third, carrying this responsibility develops your emotional and energetic capacity to hold space for massive amounts of human suffering without being destroyed. Each person's pain you absorb and process increases your ability to handle even greater loads of collective trauma. You're being trained as a spiritual shock absorber for humanity's darkest experiences. The cosmic nature of your responsibility explains why conventional self-care advice doesn't work for you. Therapists tell you to set boundaries and focus on your own needs. But something inside rebels because it feels like abandoning your post. Your soul knows your purpose involves carrying burdens others cannot handle, and it resists any attempt to shirk this sacred duty. This responsibility intensifies during major world events. During pandemics, wars, natural disasters, social upheavals, you feel collective fear and suffering as if it's your own. You might become physically ill during these times, not because you're weak, but because you're literally absorbing and processing emotional and spiritual toxins, poisoning collective consciousness. Your sense of cosmic responsibility makes you incredibly sensitive to moral and ethical dimensions of every situation. You can't ignore broader implications of seemingly small actions because you understand how individual choices ripple out to affect the whole. This makes you a natural ethical guardian, holding others accountable to higher standards even when uncomfortable or unpopular. Understanding this burden as part of your divine assignment rather than personal pathology transforms how you relate to it. Instead of fighting against your sense of responsibility or feeling guilty about caring too much, you see it as evidence of your soul's noble purpose. The weight becomes more bearable when you understand its temporary preparation for a mission that will ultimately reduce suffering rather than just absorb it. Flowing from that overwhelming cosmic responsibility, you've discovered your most profound suffering centers around one core wound that defines your entire life experience. This isn't just trauma or bad luck, it's what Jung called the sacred wound. A specific form of pain that chosen souls must carry and eventually transform into their greatest source of power and wisdom. Your sacred wound differs from ordinary suffering because it's directly connected to your divine mission. While random pain strengthens and prepares you, Your sacred wound is the key to understanding why you were chosen and what you're meant to accomplish. The very thing causing you the most agony will become the foundation of your ability to heal and transform the world. This wound often develops early and becomes a recurring theme following you through different relationships, careers, life phases. You find yourself repeatedly attracted to situations reactivating this pain, not because you're masochistic, but because your soul is working to fully understand and integrate this wound so it can be transformed into medicine for others. The sacred wound creates unique empathy that cannot be developed any other way. If your wound involves abandonment, you become extraordinarily sensitive to others who feel unwanted. If your wound centers on betrayal, you develop uncanny ability to help people heal from broken trust. If your wound involves powerlessness, you become a fierce advocate for those who cannot defend themselves. Jung recognized the sacred wound serves as a portal between wounded healer and collective unconscious. Through personal experience of specific suffering, you gain access to universal patterns of that same suffering as it appears in all human experience. Your individual pain becomes a gateway to understanding how that pain operates collectively and how it can be healed, not just in you, but in everyone who experiences it. This wound also develops your spiritual abilities and psychic sensitivity. Areas where you've been most broken often become areas where you're most intuitive and insightful. Your pain breaks down normal defenses, preventing most people from accessing subtle information and spiritual guidance. The cracks in your psychological armor become windows through which divine wisdom enters. The sacred wound often creates what appears to be weakness or vulnerability that others might exploit or dismiss. You're told you're too sensitive, too emotional, too affected by things that shouldn't matter. But this apparent weakness is your greatest strength in disguise. The same sensitivity making you vulnerable to pain also makes you capable of profound healing and transformation. Your relationship with your sacred wound typically goes through several phases. Initially, you try to avoid or numb the pain, seeking escape from discomfort. Then you enter a phase of trying to heal or fix the wound, looking for therapies or solutions to make it disappear. Eventually, you reach acceptance where you stop fighting and begin understanding its purpose. The final phase involves alchemical transformation, where you learn to transmute your wound into wisdom and your pain into power. This doesn't mean the wound disappears or stops hurting entirely. Instead, you learn to work with the wound consciously, using intimate knowledge of this specific suffering to help others navigate their own versions of the same pain. The sacred wound also connects you to spiritual lineage and ancestral healing work. Often the wound you carry isn't just personal, but represents patterns of suffering passed down through generations of your family or soul group. By healing this wound in yourself, you're healing it backwards and forwards through time, breaking cycles that have affected countless souls. Jung understood the sacred wound is ultimately about love, specifically learning to love the parts of yourself and others that are most damaged and difficult to accept. The wound teaches that true healing doesn't come from fixing or eliminating pain, but from bringing unconditional love to places where love has been absent or withdrawn. Your sacred wound also serves as spiritual protection. The pain you carry makes you less likely to become arrogant or disconnected from human suffering when you step into your power. Your wound keeps you humble, compassionate, grounded in the reality of human vulnerability. Even as you develop extraordinary abilities to help and heal others, your wound reminds you of your own humanity. The transformation of your sacred wound into your greatest gift often marks the beginning of your true mission becoming visible. When you reach the point where you can use your deepest pain as a source of healing for others, you've completed a crucial phase of spiritual development and become ready for the larger work you came here to accomplish. This is the moment everything changes. When you finally understand that your vices aren't flaws, they're the signature of your soul, the proof that you were never meant to live an ordinary life. Jung discovered what the world tried to hide, that those who carry these 6 marks aren't broken, they're chosen, and your greatest suffering will become your most powerful gift to humanity.